What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Lake Mead. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, November is a very exciting time. I always get excited with the prospects of the trout being stocked, but of course there's no set date for that happening. It all depends on the water temperatures. As soon as that reaches a certain level, they will stock the trout. But today we're doing something different. Me and the wife made our way out here to Lake Mead. I'm not quite sure what this particular cove, what the name for it is. It is 2 coves north of Pump House Cove. So I'm not quite sure what this cove is called, but we've never fished here before and we wanted to fish somewhere new. Now sadly we're not seeing any shad around, and like I said in previous videos, finding the shad you'll find the fish. But if you are willing to spend some little bit extra time out there, you can find some different fish, and that's going to be our focus for today. We're going to throw out everything we can, look for any type of fish, anything that's willing to bite. Alright, so we parked at Sunset Overlook, and it's quite a hike to get out here over some very hilly terrain, but it is a very good looking spot. Now right off the bat, these waters might look very calm. Doesn't look like there's much life around. Lots of birds, but these birds are coots. They're not something that's going to be chasing bait fish. But every once in a while there will be some sign of life. There's some bubbles over there that can be either a carp or a catfish busy feeding on something. So looking for little signs like that tells me that this place is not as dead as it looks. Alongside that, we have a lot of cover, and next to these cover we will, every once in a while, we'll see a little fish. Maybe we'll have to explore to see whether that's bass or some sunfish or maybe tilapia or something. But this is a pretty spot and we want to be fishing here. So the first rod we have out there is this one here. This is my normal carp setup. On that we have some back baits and corn. Got that out there, hoping that there's still some carp around that will be willing to feed. And the second rod we got out there, that is anchovies, hoping for some stripers or maybe some catfish. Now that we got on a normal Carolina rig, and we straight just cast it out there. Now that's on an automatic hook setter, so if anything grabs that, that rod will pop up. And these are the main baits we're going to be soaking out there today. We are of course 2 licensed anglers, so we're each allowed to use a second rod. On that we're going to be using all sorts of lures, casting that around to see if we get anything out there. Now of course, this time of year there's a big chance of not catching any fish, but we'll give it a go and we'll bring you to any action if anything happens. Alright guys, a little hook setter went off. This is on anchovy. Let's see what's down there. Of course, using anchovies we might get some catfish as well. Feeling the head shakes on there, thinking this might be a little catfish. But we'll only know once we bring it in closer. And indeed, we have a channel catfish. Not the biggest one, but a decent size to get us started. Let's quickly get the net, get him out of the water. Alright, so let's see if we can land him. There we go, catfish in the net. This guy has quite a lot of sores on his mouth. Looks like he's been caught before. But let's quickly get our hooks out there, have a look at the fish. Alright, so once again the little hook setter went off quickly, got him hooked in the corner of the mouth. That is ideal. We got a little hook out. And nice decent look at the little channel catfish. Big belly on him. Also has quite a lot of parasites on his mouth. You can see on this side, look at the sores on his mouth as well. Nice golden little big bellied catfish. Let's get him back to the water. Alright, we let him go and he's swimming off. It's very difficult. We have a bit of a drop off and I'm busy slipping into the water, so I'd rather just quickly release him. But he's swimming off, all good. Our first fish for today. Alright guys, so ironically I'm seeing quite a lot of carp in the water and quite a lot of tilapia. There are some big tilapia swimming around here, but we're not getting them to go for any of our baits or lures. Strange thing with all the carp in the area, you would think our carp rod would go off more, but the carp we are seeing are rather shallow. They're not in that deep. But hopefully if we scare a few of the carp, they might find our baits out there. Still lots of time for the baits. Don't know whether the camera can see it, but there's a bush down there. Surrounding that bush is an entire school of tilapia. So a lot of tilapia up shallow, but struggling to get them to go for anything. We'll try some bread if we see the school of tilapia again. These little tilapia are swimming closer. Hopefully you can see them on the camera. I'll try and zoom in or something. But the big school looks like they're eating something off of the grasses. If they're filling up on grass seeds, maybe they don't want anything we're throwing. Alright guys, this took a while, but we finally managed to get a little largemouth bass. Been seeing a few of them swim by. We got this guy on a little tiny Ned rig. This is the micro finesse Ned rig. I'll do a video on them soon, but for now we just wanted to throw them around, see how they look, and we managed to get this tiny little largemouth, our second little species for today. Let's quickly get this guy back to the water. So the wife's quickly going to release him. She doesn't have shoes on at the moment, so she can go into the water. And off he goes. Now, as you would expect from a normal little Ned rig, just moved it on the bottom, waited for him to grab it, just set the hook on him. Alright, so I've been casting a little 1/4 pounder to a pounder bass that I keep seeing swimming around here. Every time I do so, there's a tiny little green sunfish and a smallmouth bass, a tiny one, chasing my lures. So I quickly want to throw down some small night crawlers on a small hook. Let's see if we can catch them. There we go, we got our little green sunfish. Dark coloration on this green sunfish. Lovely blues and yellows. But tiny little green sunfish, third species for today. Let's get this little guy back to the water. And off he goes, straight back down to a rock. Alright guys, sadly I think this video doesn't do this spot actually justice. Yes, we did manage to catch a few fish out there and we had quite a lot of nibbles, especially on the anchovies. But overall, not a lot of fish that we caught out there, but we could see quite a lot of fish, especially the carp. Lots of carp swimming around, but they're not interested in our carp baits, which is weird because we caught many carp with our carp setup before, but this time of year it can be rather difficult with the water temperatures cooling down. These fish's behaviors change, and I have to say you can see it in the way the fish are moving. They're cruising around, they're not stationed in one specific spot. They move around quite a lot, so if you're not moving with them, you're going to struggle to find fish. And soaking baits, that means you're sitting in one particular spot, so you have to wait for the fish to come back round. but it is still possible to find all sorts of fish out there. Slower presentations, soaking baits for longer times. You can still catch fish, and that's something we have to do while we wait for the water temperatures to cool down some more till we get some trout stocked. But at the end of the day, we had a good time. It's a beautiful spot. It's nice out here. It is, however, quite a hike to get down here, and that's why we're going to call the video here today, because we still need to hike back up to the parking spot. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below in the comments. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, consider doing so, hitting the big red subscribe button. That will turn grey and say subscribed. Also, if you want to make sure you never miss any of my videos, hit the little bell notification next to that and click all. That will notify you of all the videos I upload. Alright, but thank you for following us out here, and like always, see you next time.